Time for a crypto market update, September 20th, 2025. Now, there's something really important that we need to talk about in relation to the crypto market and the broader market. We're going to take our time, so be patient with me. And make sure you watch to the end of this video. You might even want to share it with a friend or bookmark it or something. Come back for later. Whatever you need to do, don't miss what I'm about to say. I've got two major notifications that y'all need to understand by the end of this video for your own sake and for the sake of your portfolio. First off, you need to understand that the economy and the market are not the same institution. They are separate entities altogether. Do they feed off of one another? Absolutely. But do they mimic each other? Does one create a cause and effect in the other all the time? The answer is no. It's almost like separation of church and state, or two different industries that have a correlation but not necessarily a causation. And that's a big thing that you've got to get in your head as you live your day-to-day life in the quote-unquote economy. But then you look at the market and there might be contrary actions happening. For example, the S&P 500, gold, all the broader indices, Bitcoin, at or alongside their all-time high prices in the market. But in the economy, we have a rising, not terribly bad employment rate, but a rising employment rate, one that looks like the unemployment rate before many of the recessions, especially the 2008 and the dot-com bubble burst. But you also have things like subprime auto loan delinquencies that are above crisis level. It's a paradox that a lot of my TikTok audience is not able to synthesize, especially as they might be a beginner or intermediate crypto investor, or you're getting into the markets on more sophisticated instruments than you've ever had exposure to before. And you're hearing all of this divergent information that you're not able to piece together. It's kind of a puzzle. Just remember, the market is not the economy. The market is a forward discounting mechanism that's looking at things and pricing in particular events and possibilities, literally speculation that could happen. Right now, at the time of this recording, the market's looking at January or February, maybe farther out. And much of the economic data that you get is lagging. As a matter of fact, we could already be in a recession. We may have already been in a recession for the better part of a year before they actually declare a recession happening. That's because a lot of the federal and government agencies that track this stuff have lagging indicators, especially the Federal Reserve. They basically drive our monetary policy through the rearview mirror. That's why Bitcoin and the greater crypto market can actually still outperform everyone's expectations. It's why most of institutions missed the dip in April, and now they're FOMOing back in, trying to get repositioned because of sideline money. That's why Bitcoin can do these standard corrections in a bull market, bounce off the 30-week moving average for a retest, and then be on its way on its next impulsive move up to a new all-time high, even though there's all this bad economic data and people are struggling on Main Street. It's the very definition of what I've said in my previous videos. It's the Hunger Games, and you've got to get to District 1 as fast as possible. But speaking of speed, let's go with notification number 2 that I mentioned at the beginning of my video. Time frames, time horizons, that's a huge thing that you've got to synthesize as a crypto investor, because things don't happen as fast as you want them to, but also things don't happen simultaneously like we've just been talking about. You see, I can be bearish on the economy, but uber bullish on the market. And my time frame on the market might not feel as long as my time frame on the economy. That is, on the recovery of both, or the blow off top of one or the other. And because crypto is so accessible as a financial technology, many crypto investors jump in thinking that because they can grab the steering wheel as fast as they can get results as fast as they want to. But this actually requires skills. This actually requires market cycle knowledge to accelerate results Otherwise, the economy and the market are simply going to fool you because, well, that's what free markets do. And then all of a sudden, you're going to be discouraged because XYZ didn't happen. While in reality, what's setting up in the crypto market looks a lot like what set up last fall when you look back at 2024, the fourth quarter. And if you look at Bitcoin dominance here, it continues to drop really far. And we've got a long ways to go from a percentage standpoint, although that productivity can happen over, a couple of weeks. And one of the really fun charts you want to look at is the total 3 Bitcoin chart. That is the production or the productivity of the total 3 market cap. That's everything except Bitcoin and Ethereum in the crypto market in relation to Bitcoin's performance. The total 3, as of late, is outperforming Bitcoin. And that shows you that it's about to be altcoin season. Or is it already and you just can't see it yet because it's easier to see in hindsight? Now, something to talk about with the Fed cut. The last time that the Federal Reserve cut interest rates, where the S&P 500 stocks, all that stuff was at double-digit earnings on average, and we were at all-time highs and all that good stuff, was back during the dot-com bubble burst. So just understand that the economy's in a bad spot. It's worse than everybody thinks. The market's at all-time highs, but that doesn't mean that it stays at all-time highs perpetually or even for the next, 6 to 12 months. Fed policy changes historically mean a change in the bull or bear market regime. Currently, we're in a bull market regime, but that doesn't mean it'll last forever. But in the short term, in the next few months or so, we're in a bull market and we're postured to do some really crazy production. If you look here at the Tether dominance chart, this shows you that once this Tether USDT, the largest stablecoin on the planet, breaks down below this trend, we're probably dropping back into the previous market cycle's alt season territory. And even if we don't, because of stablecoin proliferation with the Genius and Clarity Act here in the United States, and then of course the global US dollar dominance just continuing to rise, even if you get a marginal dip in USDT dominance, you will have the rocket fuel for an alt season. Another bullish market metric is the DXY continues to tank, and it's just about to break through the bottom of this channel here, the US dollar index. This is the measurement of the dollar's power globally in relation to 5 other fiat currencies. This is a risk on, risk off thermometer, if you will. Now, here's the one to get excited about. This is the others chart, crypto minus the top 10 market cap. The top 10 market cap's done most of the work up to this point, but it's about to be others' turn. Others has a good amount of productivity ahead of it, and in that little pinch, that human pinch of a distance on my chart, lies potentially life-changing wealth for someone watching this video. And while the U.S. Treasury yield and the 20-year, even if you look at it, the long-term bond yields are kind of rejecting the Federal Reserve's interest rate decision in the short term, I think it's just a counter trend move that will, kind of like these previous moves, end up in a reversal and a red candle. And you'll see your mortgage rates going down pretty soon. I told you to hang in there with me. If you're still here, give me a 5 in the comments. Let me know if this is helpful to you. Would love for you to like and follow. And remember, it's bull run time until proven otherwise. But there's so many things that have to be invalidated at this point for a bull run not to happen in altcoins that it's very, very unlikely to do so. I'm expecting Bitcoin to start outperforming everything else in the short term, and then altcoins do one of the biggest catch-up trades that we've ever seen in modern history. What happens after that, you're going to have to stay tuned for in my future videos. Like and follow for more.